on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In last week's video and my short that I posted the day after that video, you know that we were trying to track down a breaking up problem between wide open throttle shifts and the Mustang. Tried a couple things. I tried to put new plugs, and put wire separators because my wires were zip tied together, which I know is very frowned upon. You want to keep them separated. With no success. The car's still breaking up in between wide open throttle shifts, and honestly, I have no idea what's going on. So I came up with an idea. My idea is to take my snap-on scanner that I have and pretty much monitor the key things that we want to look at while driving. Now, my scanner I can do data logging with, so I'm just going to select the things that I want to watch. I'm going to put them on graphs because it's easier to see what's going on a graph. You'll actually see the graph like plummet or rise or whatever. So that's really all I'm thinking, because I don't want to throw parts at it that aren't needed. And I don't know, this is an older car, so I'm not too sure what we're going to be able to see on the scan tool with the ECU, but I'm hoping we can at least see crank signal, cam signal, and misfire counts. And I also would like to monitor the mass airflow and maybe if there's something in there for fuel, but I'm not too sure what I'm going to be able to see. I'm going to plug it in right now and let's see what we can get out of it. So guys, this is my scan tool. It is a Solus Legend from Snap-on. You don't need anything this crazy to do this kind of stuff. You can actually do this with just your normal scan tools, but you might not be able to data log from them. That I'm not 100% sure about, but you can normally do it perfectly fine with a cheaper scan tool. I have this obviously because I work on cars every day, so I need something to diagnose cars. I don't know what is in our VIN here. Do we have an X or do we have a V? I'll get that information and I'll be right back. Alright guys, if you have a Cobra, you got a V in your VIN. An X is for a GT, I would think. So I'm going to pretty much go in here, see, just like I was thinking, we really don't have much here. We have engine, powertrain, ABS, airbag, anti-theft. We have oil specs and resets, and tire and wheel service. So lucky for us, we're mainly just after engine and powertrain. We are a manual transmission with AC, even though we don't actually have AC, but we did. And I mean, yeah. We're very, very limited to what we have in here. So first I'm just going to see if we have any codes. Theft detected, engine disabled. Okay, that's pretty normal because we don't actually have the car running. Do we have any pending codes? No pending codes. And yeah, we don't really have anything weird going on in the codes at all. This is just like tests and stuff. I don't really think we need any of this, or we don't need to use any of this. Data display is what we're after. I'm gonna go through this list and then I'll pull up what I pulled up in 1 second. All right, so here we have our misfire counter menu, which it kind of sucks because I'm only going to be able to do one menu at a time. But we are recording right now, so more or less the car is obviously not running. So these are not changing at all, but these shouldn't change because these are actually just misfire counters for all 8 cylinders. So pretty much what my idea here is to drive the car, do a wide open throttle shift, let it do its pop / hiccup bog bullshit that it's been doing, and I'm going to see if one of these cylinders actually registers any type of misfire. And if that is the case, it's going to lead me more towards a coil pack problem because, like I said, the plugs and wires are new. And then I also left up in the list here any type of injector faults. So if we throw, say cylinder 7 throws an injector fault at wide open throttle shift, I will see it on the data log, and I will be able to go back, see when that happened, and if that happened at my wide open throttle shift point, then we know that we have a bad injector. And then I also left RPM up. So pretty much when I'm playing the data log back through, I'll be able to see what RPM I was at, say here, and then say this is cylinder 8 right here that has no fault. Say that one decides it's going to throw a fault right at my shift. I'll be able to see that right here in the data log, and I'll know, okay, cylinder 8 injector has a problem, or cylinder 8 on the coil pack has a problem, and I will be able to see all of that at the exact time that it happens, matching up to the RPM. So that is one thing. That's what we can monitor here. And then we have to go to another menu to monitor the crankshaft position sensor, camshaft position sensor, mass airflow, and all that type of stuff. So I'm just going to make sure I can monitor those. Like I said, guys, this is an old car. It's an old ECU. It's 1998. OBD2 was only around for 2 years. Only 2 years in 1998. So this is a very, very basic computer, but I think we'll be able to do it and monitor what we need to and figure out what the hell's wrong with this thing. I'm really hoping it's something stupid like a bad coil or a bad crank sensor or something. I can't see it being anything major. I did a compression test on the engine, and the engine is 100% healthy, has great compression. So I know it's going to be a sensor or an injector or just something stupid going on. So guys, I've quickly come to realize the problems with a 1998 ECU. I can monitor a lot of stuff here, but there's two things that I want to monitor that I can't. And that would be my crank and cam sensors. Of course, right? So I've tried custom, I've tried all these menus, and it's just not giving me anything for those sensors. That really sucks. The good thing is a Motorcraft cam sensor, and a Motorcraft cam sensor is $30, and a Motorcraft crank sensor is $30. Yes, I could just throw them in the car. I know that there's an aftermarket crank sensor in here because when I was driving before I sold this car way back, I had a crank sensor go out. Now, when the crank sensor did go out on this car, the tach was very, very jumpy. Like, it wasn't getting a clean signal. I'm not experiencing any of that. Doesn't go to say it's not bad. Doesn't go to say that in between shifts at 7,200 RPMs, it's not dropping signal when I get back on throttle into the next gear. It is a very, very likely possibility, but as for now, I think what we're going to do is we're going to monitor what we can monitor. So I want to see if it's going to misfire at wide open throttle when I go from, say, second to third or third to fourth. Right at red line is when it would do it. So I can monitor that type of stuff. If we're not throwing any misfires, I'm going to lean more towards a crank signal problem or a cam signal problem, which at that point, I'll spend the $60. I'll just throw both brand new Motorcraft OEM sensors in this thing, see if that fixes it. If we are getting a misfire, we will then throw 2 OEM Motorcraft coil packs on the car, and that should take care of this problem. It should. At least in theory, in my mind, that should fix this car. So a little bit later on tonight, I'm going to data log all that stuff that I was showing you guys, and hopefully we find something, because I don't know where else to look. You know, we have good fuel pressure, all that type of stuff. I know it's not tune related because we didn't have this issue in the past. If it was tune related, it would have had this problem before, which it didn't. So, man, oh man, I'm not 100% sure. So we're gonna just have to see what's going on. So I'll bring you guys along when I do data log this car, do a couple pulls. I'll show you guys the breakup that it's experiencing. You know, and unfortunately we're just gonna have to go from there. But I really need to get this thing fixed because we have a good pinion angle now and everything, which, by the way, that's -1 degree, and it's very, very happy there. I think that's like the happy medium place for it. Doesn't really vibrate under load, but it does vibrate like minuscule amounts at very, very high speeds. But you guys got to remember, this car has 456 gears, and I am turning some serious RPM at high speed. So that's to be expected. Probably could get that to go away if I put the pinion directly in line with the transmission, but you don't want to do that because the pinion, again, like I said in my last video, wants to jump upward. So you always want to stay a little bit lower. Like I said, I'm only a degree lower. I don't really want to go much less than that. It's just not enough to launch the car or anything. So this is really the only issue we have left. And then we just have like stuff that's actually broken on the car, like leaking shocks and stuff like that, but that ain't no big deal. This is a big deal. This is a problem. The car's not running right, and we need to figure out why. So I'll take you guys along in a little while later. I don't like taking the car and ripping on it while people are out and stuff like that. You know, I don't want to endanger anybody on the road or anything. So a little bit later, when there's a lot less cars on the road, we will we'll hopefully figure out what's wrong with this thing. So guys, so I've just decided to pull them out and just visually inspect. The crankshaft position sensor is right down in here. It's that guy right there, which is all types of dirty. We're gonna pull that out and see how the magnet looks. And then right behind our power steering reservoir, if you look right up in here, that plug right there is our camshaft position sensor. And we don't have another one. So there's none on this side. It's just one that monitors the whole entire car, as you can see. So I'm going to pull both of those, check both magnets, make sure they're clean of debris. If they're not, I'm going to clean them up and I'm going to put them back in. And honestly, if that changes anything, I'm just going to replace both. So fingers crossed, hopefully something stupid. Right off rip, we got both sensors here. They were pretty easy to take out. I had to remove the power steering reservoir out of the way because the cam sensor lives behind that. And then I just had to pull off my AC delete pulley. If you have an actual AC compressor, it might fit out without taking that off. I don't know exactly how the AC compressor was before, or you might have to just move your AC compressor to the side. It's not that big a deal. But right off the bat, I noticed the cam sensor looks pretty good. I don't see anything weird with it. Obviously, it is covered in oil. These things do live in the timing cover, so they are going to get oil on them. But I came to the crank sensor and I realized it looks a little bit marred up. I don't know if you guys can see those cuts right next to the magnet. This could very well be an issue. I don't know exactly what part I put in here. It could have been OEM. It could have not been OEM. I'm going to clean them both off like really, really good. And we'll see if we can see any logos on them. I want to make sure both of these sensors are Motorcraft sensors. A lot of the times with crank sensors and stuff, guys, you want to go with OEM. You don't want to go aftermarket cheapos because the magnets are just not as strong in the aftermarket sensors and they do fail. So if these aren't both Ford, I'm definitely going to have to do something about this. Clean both off. I can't seem to find a Ford logo on the cam sensor, but our crank sensor is 100% a OEM part. Now, I really don't remember what I replaced. I don't remember if it was a cam or crank sensor. I could have sworn it was the crank sensor, but maybe it was the cam sensor. Not really sure. There's no way to really know by looking at these things if they're good or bad, but like I said, I wanted to take them out and just visually inspect them. That's still magnetic, and that's still magnetic also, so that's a good thing, but the magnet could be failing when the car gets hot, and it could just be enough to where at a high RPM, it's just not registering fast enough. Well, visually wise, I'm going to put them back because like I said, I want to take this and monitor misfire counts. And if we're getting a misfire, then these old Excel coils are going to be our problem. And we're just going to go back to Motorcraft because they're actually better than the Excel. Think what you want, say what you say. Yes, the stock part is better than the aftermarket ones. It's just how it is with these things. So I'm going to put those sensors back in and get everything back together, and we'll have to monitor the misfire counts and see what's going on. It's hard to see in here. Work with very, very minimal light, but I have my list up here. The stuff I showed you guys earlier in the video. Pretty much when I'm ready to do my 3-4 pull, I'm just going to hit record right here. Then I'm going to stop it right after the pull and, you know, keep it paused till I get back home. And then I'm going to look over the log and we're going to see if we have any misfire, injector faults, or anything, and we'll see exactly at what RPM that is. So I'm just waiting for the car to warm up a little bit. We're only at about 130 right now, so I'd like to get a little bit more heat in the motor, but we're going to take it. We're going to do a 3-4, and hopefully we're going to see something that goes, bam, there's the problem, hopefully. I really, really hope so. All right, guys, we do have a pretty good gap here to do it. Just hit record on the scanner. Okay, guys, so no go. So if you pay attention to that video and you listen to my exhaust in that video, you'll hear as I shift from 3 to 4, you'll hear it almost like backfire and stumble. When you get back on throttle, it has like nothing, and then all of a sudden it just wakes up and it starts going again. I didn't record any misfires whatsoever throughout the whole entire power band, the whole entire trip. There was no misfires at all. It's not to say that the coil packs are not weak. They very well could be. It's definitely a possibility. I mean, honestly, for 2 Motorcraft coils, coil packs, and a Motorcraft cam sensor and a Motorcraft crank sensor, it's less than $200 for all OEM stuff. I don't really want to go this route, but I think I'm just going to buy all 3 things, throw them all in, and pray that it's fixed. Honestly, after that, I really don't even know where to look. If those don't take care of it, I guess maybe it could be a weak fuel pump, but I just really don't think so. I have good fuel pressure, nothing like that, so it's got to be something stupid, man. It's got to be something stupid. Actually, guys, watching that video back of the pull, you can hear it and you can actually physically see it. If you watch my steering wheel, you'll see the car kind of hang over and then go back. That is what I'm talking about. Something's going on. It's not supposed to do that. It's never done that before. I've owned this car for a very long time, and I do know that this car should not do that. It should not do that, guys. Sometimes it's just so frustrating. Sometimes, like, we get one problem right, like the pinion angle, it's beautiful now, the car feels great, and then we just run into other bullshit, man. Sometimes it's just the way it goes. We will figure out the Mustang. I promise we will figure out what the hell is wrong with this car. I think the next plan of attack, honestly, I don't see any misfires on the scan tool. The coils are old. They're Excel coils. I already know when I go to get a retune on this car that he's going to tell me to put Motorcraft coils back in. So I'm just going to go ahead and order both Motorcraft coils. This car uses 2 coil packs of 4. I'm gonna order both of those, and the cam and crank sensors are cheap enough. It's $60 for both of them, Motorcraft OEM. I'm just gonna order those 2, swap them out. They're easy to swap. It's not a big deal. I really don't like throwing parts at things, but at this point, I really don't know what else to do. I need this car to perform properly. You know, I have a lot of people that want to run. I have a draggy coming Wednesday this week, so we're gonna do some videos with that, but it's just kind of stupid, man. I don't want to run anybody or use the draggy or anything unless the car's performing properly, because obviously when it's sputtering in between shifts like that, it's slowing the car down, and it's slowing the car down to the point where I can feel it drop off in power and then go back on power. It shouldn't be like that. It should just be wop, bop, bop, no problem whatsoever. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to throw parts at it. It is what it is. I can't monitor crank signal. I can't monitor cam signal. So it's really kind of just a guess and check at this point. Most of the codes are turned off in the ECU, so it's probably not gonna throw a check engine light, which also sucks. But we're gonna have to figure it out. There's no way around it. The car is obviously not going anywhere ever again. I made the mistake of selling it in 2017, and I will not be making that mistake again. So we'll figure it out. We'll get it right. And then we'll have a lot of content with this car coming. I still have the Jeep outside and the Subaru. The Subaru's actually running right now. About to go grab a drink. But yeah, so we'll figure it out. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please drop a like up on this video, drop a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.